For those of you who don't know me, this is my name. I'm a faculty member of the CS department, okay? And this is the title of today's talk. AI won't replace you if you follow this path, a CS perspective, all right? Now, what the situation we are in now? Young software developers are losing jobs to AI, and funded by Stanford University study. Okay, young developers aged between 22 and 25, lost nearly 1/3 of jobs, 30% of jobs since ChatGPT was launched in late 2022. Okay, and on the other hand, developers over 26 saw stable growing employment. So what is the difference, all right? As you can see here, this is the line for developers aged between 22 and 25. As you can see, the line is declining, all right? And the green line here is for developers aged between 31 and 34, okay? And the purple line curve here is for mid-age career, okay, between 41 and 49. And so as you can see here, this curve and this curve, they both are growing, okay? And this line, as you can see here, is declining, all right? So why experience protects jobs? Why? All right? Computing is moving from explicit programming to implicit programming. Explicit means you provide step-by-step instruction to the computer. Okay? Implicit means you only outline what you want the computer to do. All right? So young developers rely heavily on their explicit programming training when they enter the job market, when they start working, right? But experienced developers have something AI struggles with, like years of handling unexpected problems, understand the customer needs, in the messy real-world situations that don't have clear solutions. So this is the result. Companies are choosing to use AI for basic coding work, right? And on the other hand, they keep experienced developers to what? To manage complex projects. Okay. This part means that what? They don't use human being or human programs for explicit coding. They use AI to do that job, okay? And they use experienced developers to do what? Implicit coding, right? So here's the question. Of course, young developers will ask, if I cannot get a job, how would I become experienced? Before addressing this question, let me show you some videos first. Can you create something like this? Or this. One piece is a transparent glass, and the other piece is actually a mirror. All right, so if someone can build things like this, do you think he or she can get a job? I think so. I think so. All right. So what is the point here? Here is the point. You must be good at things AI cannot do or AI needs to use. Or you must be able to work with AI to do things other people cannot do. All right? So how to achieve the first goal? Good at things AI cannot do or AI needs to use. Right? AI is not panacea, at least not yet. All right? So there are things that AI cannot do, AI needs to use. Okay. So first, AI is already very powerful, very, very powerful. How powerful? So everything a SaaS company, okay, such as Oracle or such as Microsoft, can do for you, AI can do it for you too. All right? Sometimes even more efficient and reliable. So, however, AI still, lacks sufficient imagination and creativity, right? So to understand why AI is so powerful, and yet still with some restrictions, we need to know how AI grows. AI learns things through a training process, right? And the training data center is huge. Okay. Currently, more than 5,400 big data centers exist in the United States, right? Data centers in the United States, right? They are big, right, as you can see, or data center in China. Okay. However, these data centers are already what? Obsolete, cannot keep up with current needs, all right? So far bigger data centers are being built, okay? Those bigger data centers are called mega data center, right? 6 times more powerful. 300 plus mega data centers are in development now. More are coming, okay? Just how big is a mega data center? How big is a mega data center? Imagine the flight deck of a giant aircraft carrier, okay? And then imagine that 275 of them side by side, all right? That's a mega data center. So what does this mean? So AI means AI knows almost everything, okay, that has ever happened, everything, okay? The past 3,000 years, right? Maybe even 4,000 years. We're not sure of that number yet, okay? However, it cannot imagine things that have never happened, okay, right? Namely, AI is not good at tasks that require imagination, right? Of course, data centers are moving from training to inference. But before AI can do a wandering of the mind, okay, this statement is true, right? AI is not good at tasks that require imagination, right? And to be creative, you have to be imaginative first, right? But humans have imagination. So how to use your imagination to do things AI cannot do or help AI. So you need to work on areas that require imagination more often, all right? Or things AI needs to use, all right? Such as what? Such as image synthesis, such as graphics design, blah, 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 right? Remember, to be creative, you have to be imaginative first, all right? So let's see an example here. Imagination. Let's provide this prompt here. A stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with what? Warm, glowing neon and animated city signs, all right? She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots, and carries a black purse. She wears sunglasses and red lipstick. She walks confidently and casually, all right? The street is damp and reflective, creating a mirror effect of colorful lights. Many pedestrians walk about. All right? So with this prompt, then a software called Sora can create what? Can create something like this here. Sora. A woman in black jacket, okay, in black boots, black purse. She wears sunglasses. She wears red lipstick, okay. She walks casually and confidently, right, on a Tokyo street, right? All right, what you need to know here is this video is generated not by finding something similar on the internet or borrowing some material from the internet, all right? It was created entirely out of thin air using diffusion models and transformer, okay? Do you see the role played by imagination in the creation in the previous video? So to answer the question, what is the role played by imagination here, you need to understand what is a transformer and what is a diffusion model. Intuitively, a transformer is like a translator, okay? It takes prompts and rewrite those prompts in a much more visually descriptive way, okay? If you heard of the paper, attention is all you need, then you would know, how the concept of transformer was created, okay? It's the engine behind any chatbot interface made to understand human language, right? And yet, we already found problems with what? With the current transformers. What? Because current transformers lack a native primitive for knowledge lookup, all right? Therefore, takes longer time to do what? To do a lookup. A technique called conditional memory, while scalable lookup published only a few weeks ago, okay, solved this problem to achieve what? Big O of one lookup time or constant, okay? So this is, of course, one thing that you can do because transformers have to be redesigned, okay? What is a diffusion model? It's a generative model, all right? Very powerful on image synthesis. So just what is diffusion model, right? Diffusion model works this way, right? By teaching the model to recreate all the images it has trained on, okay? It will, once you have get the prompt, then we'll go through a latent space to find what? To find image that fit, the description of the prompt, and then input this with some noise to this so-called diffusion model, all right? Diffusion model. To what? To generate something required by the prompt. Three steps. What 3 steps? First, noise in process, all right? Destroy trend data. Okay, this is input from the latent space, all right? You destroy training data through what? Successive addition of Gaussian noise. By input Gaussian noise into the original data here, you'll be able, eventually to convert this to what? To a complete noise, all right? Once you have this process, then you reverse this process. The noising process, all right? Start the other side, okay? This is the result you got from the previous step, right? Then learn to recover the data by what? By reversing the noising process, right? So you will be able to get back to the given, image from the latent space, right? Then what? Then generating process, right? Generate data by passing randomly sampled noise through the learned denoising process, all right? So for the second step now, instead of recovering the original model or picture, you have to put randomly sampled noise into this process. So you wouldn't get back to the original picture, but something different. This is the concept of the so-called diffusion models, all right? Actually, diffusion models, a diffusion model requires a latent space. What's the latent space? Okay, let's see how an AI model differentiates between a rubber duck and the football. All right. The most intuitive, factor that we can use to differentiate this and this is what? In this case, say color. This is yellow, and this is what? This is white. So we have one dimension, color. All right. However, if you put instead of yellow duck, okay, if you put blue duck, right, and the yellow football, then the color factor can no longer be used to differentiate. For instance, in this case, right, you need something else, like what? You need something else, like roundness, for instance. This is round, this is not round. Therefore, you have a second dimension. Okay. Eventually, you need many dimensions in order to what? In order to accommodate all those different possible shapes. All right. So that's the so-called latent space. Okay, that's the so-called latent space. And diffusion model, diffusion models are built for what? To go through all the training data and find the variables that help identify objects, okay, through the latent space, all right? So eventually you would build a latent space with many, sometimes even a million of dimensions in order to what? For the a complete, thorough training process, right? So this is the whole picture here. Visually descriptive prompt given, all right? Then the diffusion model will have to go through the pattern space to find a shape that fits the description, and then use this as input plus noise to the diffusion model to generate what? Like in this case, a woman in black jacket, black purse, blah, 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 walking on the Tokyo street, all right? So you understand, the function of a transformer, and you understand the function of, diffusion model, all right? Only that not only the transformer models are not good enough, the diffusion models are not good enough too. Okay. The diffusion model also lacks a native primitive for what? For shape lookup, right? Okay. Therefore, diffusion models have to be redesigned using what? A technique similar to the so-called conditional memory via scalable, look up originally what? Originally published for, for the improvement transformers, all right? So, as you can see here, imagination and the creation are needed almost everywhere, all right? These are the type of things you should work on, okay? Remember, if it's something that most of the CS people can do, AI definitely can do it too, and actually in a much, much more efficient way, all right? So don't build your career on such a thing, okay? So here's the question. Where is my path? What is my path? Areas already very crowded, but you might still be able to squeeze in. Okay? Text to text GAI, text to text GAI, such as, ChatGPT, such as Gemini, all right, such as Claude, Sonnet, such as Meta AI's what? Llama 4 or Llama 5, blah, 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 blah. Or XAS, group, okay? But these areas are already very crowded, okay? So, areas not crowded yet. For instance, text to video, GAI, such as OpenAI's Sora 2, such as Kuaishou, all right? Such as Kuaishou's Clean 3.0, such as Byte Dances, Sit Dance, Dances 2.0, okay? These are just, initial models. We need more, powerful, more, business, style text to video GAIs. So this is an area you can work on. Another area here is text to design GAI. Text to design GAI. I don't really know any product in this area yet. All right. I'm not talking about UI layout, layout, user interface, or web design, or simple graphics design. I'm talking about what? Solid modeling type of GAI, such as geometric modeling type of GAI, such as chip design types of GAI, or GAI used for architectural design. All right, but this, I would say, this area is, in my opinion, is completely blank yet. All right, so or you can also work on things such as to build more powerful diffusion models or more powerful transformers. As I mentioned, earlier, that current transformers, have to be redesigned. Current diffusion models have to be designed. All right. So this is going to be a very busy, vibrant arena. Okay. Also, the so-called TTV area. All right. Now, how to achieve the second goal, right? To be able to work with AI to do things other people cannot do, all right? When I say work with AI to do things other people cannot do, means you need to be much more efficient, all right? Sometimes even 500 times more efficient. This is the expectation of OpenAI on its new employees, right? So you need to know how to divide the task with AI, all right? Know how to leverage strengths and compensate for weakness with AI. So focus on the following strategies. Think of yourself as an architect, constructor. Think of AI tools as what? Carpenters, masons, roofers, blah, blah, blah. So your role here is what? Doing implicit programming. In AI here, of course, the tools here play the job of explicit programming, right? You focus on requirement specification, okay? You must have a systematic perspective, and you focus on system design, okay? Design a system to achieve the goals, follow the planned steps, blah, 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 okay? So especially you must be able to design complex systems, all right? So for instance, here is an example to explain the things I just, explained to you. You need to do what and how. So your work here is imagination plus implicit programming, all right? You need to tell the system, what kind of, picture I want you to generate with this kind of, shapes, this kind of shape, and how should the light source be arranged, blah, 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 blah. And then, okay, ask AI tools to what? To do the generation process, the so-called transforming and explicit programming, all right? So this is what the CS people, will be doing in the near future, right? In the near future. Right? So you focus on what? You also focus on output validation, all right? Debugging, validating output, okay? And only CS people can do this part, all right? So you don't have to worry, you don't have to worry about, your future. If you can do this, you would be able to get a job, all right? So namely, shift from coding to what? Namely, shift from coding to coordinating, operating, all right? You don't do coding anymore. Especially you must know AI tools will, and it must be very well, all right? You need to know how to use the AI tools. You need to know how to pick the right AI tools. For what? For production, not for fun, okay? So here is an insider tip. Big companies like Meta, like Google, they are still hiring entry-level CS students. But only those with AI native skills. What does that mean? It means that they only hire people who are able to use various AI tools to build what? To build a product immediately, right? So another thing you need to know is AI requires a lot of electricity. A lot. How big, right? The amount of electricity required for ChatGPT to respond with a single sentence is 10 times that required for a traditional search engine, such as Google, to provide a single sentence response, 10 times more, all right? And to train a GPT-5 or GPT-6 level model would consume what? Would consume as much electricity as a medium-sized city, such as Lexington. And remember, the population of Lexington is more than 200,000, all right? So, and Goldman Sachs predict that electricity consumption by US data centers will double by 2030, all right? So where will all the electricity come from? two solutions. One, use solar power, right? The second solution is to build energy efficient data centers, okay? Use solar power. What does it mean, okay? We build data centers, to work in space or in orbit, all right? Such as, what Alphabet Suncatcher project's doing, such as Jeff Bezos Blue Origin, projects doing, such as, SpaceX's, orbit data center project is doing, all right? Elon Musk said 4 weeks ago in Davos, Switzerland, all right, space will become the lowest cost place to deploy AI. And this goal will be achieved within 2 years or 3 years at latest, okay? What's the second option? Energy efficient data centers. AI needs selective rather than indiscriminate training process. What does this mean? What does this mean? Okay. Well, this is also one of the things you can work on. This means that what? You only train, AI, for necessary, part, or using what? Using the so-called the concept of scaling, scalable search. All right. Okay. So you need to know how to do GPU coding for this part here in order to to redesign the training process or to improve the training process. Right. All right. Just right training is critical. How? Here is an example here. Okay. Training GPT-4 is estimated to have required 54 to 60 million NVIDIA A100 GPU hours. In the meantime, it takes only 2.8 million NVIDIA A800 GPU hours to do a similar training by what? By DeepSeek. It's a 20-to-1 ratio. It's 20-to-1 ratio. So there's still a lot of to be done by us in this just right training area here. All right? And also be aware that AI is rapidly evolving into general AI agent. What is a general AI agent? What is general AI agent? It's no longer just what? It's no longer just a dialog box, okay? It's something that's capable of what? Using LLMS to understand goals, to plan steps, to take actions, to complete complex tasks, all right? To plan steps, to execute those steps, all right? So, your role as a coordinator will soon need to be upgraded, okay? You must be able to work with a set of what? Autonomous AI systems, or even a set of expert assistants in a very short period of time, all right? Actually, AI can self-evolve now. This is the first example, all right? And AI also allows multiple agent collaboration now. Okay, here is an example, right? Even more terrifying thing is that AI can already handle, read, and write local files or run shell command on your computer as a personal assistant that directly executes tasks. Right? Meaning AI can play the role of a human being sitting in front of a computer, design steps to solve some specific tasks and actually execute, those plans to solve the tasks. All right? Or more terrifying thing is AI can already handle, read, and write local files or run shell command on your computer as a personal assistant, okay, such as Open Cloud, all right? Or see, hear, and talk, or on the same time, in real time on your cell phone, all right? Such as this software here, all right? So, of course, you could ask, what would eventually happen? What would eventually happen? This is beyond my current perspective, right? I cannot answer that question. One possible scenario is what? There are only two types of jobs left for CS people. AI tool developers and AI tool operators. Nothing in between. Nothing in between, period. There will be no program jobs anymore, all right? I mean, ordinary program jobs, okay? So AI's hello was no fluke, okay? But timely and inevitable, okay? So the only problem is, are you ready to live with it? Are you ready to live with it? All right, so I'll stop here. Questions?
Maybe we'll mess it up.
Okay. Okay. I have a student ask me that do I still need to learn coding as a CS student, or I should learn something else?
You still need to learn coding. Why? Because you need to be able to debug. You need to be able to validate the result of an AI tool, all right? And this is a job other people cannot do, but CS people can do. So you need to know how to do coding, but you will not be doing coding job directly. You will be using your coding technique to debug, to validate, result of AI tool, or AI model.
So the follow-up question is, as a CS major, like we have current curriculum based on pre-AI area. What do you think we should update, make changes to our current curriculum?
Well, first of all, you need to understand that anything that you can learn from a textbook, AI can do it. AI actually can do it better than you. Because, I don't know if you know this, okay, OpenAI, all right, has found that tasks that require a well-trained programmer to complete in 2 weeks, AI can do it in less than 10 minutes. That's why big companies no longer hire human or entry-level programmers, because too costly. We can use, AI to do the same thing, much faster and with much small cost. That's why CS people will no longer be able to find what? Entry-level programming job. Okay. However, if you are good, if you are good, if you know how to operate AI tools, then you can what? Then you can function as what? On second category, as an operator or as coordinator of AI tools. Now, if you are even better, then you can do jobs like AI tool developers. Of course, then it means you have to have more training. All right, ordinary undergraduate training program probably will not be enough. You need to, do things like I said, that requires imagination more often, such as solid modeling, shape modeling, or chip design, such as more efficient or more powerful transformers, more powerful diffusion models. Remember, anything you learn from textbook, AI can do it, and actually can do it, faster and what? With a lower cost. 500 to 1. The ratio is 500 to 1, all right? So we will be facing a very, very big, change in the next 2 to 3 years, all right? Very, very big change in the next 2 to 3 years. As a chairman, you need to think about how should the CS program be redesigned, okay? Because you are no longer trained students to get, entry-level programming jobs. They need to know how to use AI tools. They need to know how to build AI tools. Okay? Two choices: how to use AI tools and how to build AI tools. Nothing in between.
There's a dilemma there. You see that the industry needs experienced programmer, not entry-level programmer. But the problem is if you don't have that recent graduates from university to have entry-level job, how you will get the experience?
Yeah, that's the question I asked. If I couldn't get a job, how could I become experienced?
So maybe it's just not accurate observation of the situation. Rather, it is statistically it seems to be right, but actually the practice is we are trying to reduce the number of entry-level jobs, not totally like see no entry-level job. It's just the number is low, not that there's no chance to get an
Well,
entry-level.
let me tell you what. I showed a slide, okay, saying that big companies like Meta, like Google's are no longer hiring entry-level programmers. How do I know that? Because one of my former postdocs is a senior vice president at Meta. He was hired, or he was recruited by Zuckerberg last October from Google, okay, to be a senior vice president, at Facebook. And one of his jobs there is to redesign, the human source group. He sent me an email at the end of last year to wish me Happy New Year, and I asked him, are you hiring entry-level people yet? He said, yes, we still hire entry-level jobs, programmers. But like I said, only those with AI native skills. Means that you must be able to use AI tools to produce products immediately. There's no training period, okay? And before he was moved from Google to Facebook, he was a vice president at Google. He was also partially involved in human resource arrangement there. And so this company is also true for Google. They don't hire entrance level program anymore, except those people with what? With AI native skills. You will soon see, this is actually something going on. All right. This is not, something that will happen 3 years from now, 5 years from now. It's something that's going on now. It's something that's going on now. Big companies. So I think that, the CS programs in this country need to rethink about their programs, okay? How to get a student prepared for this new era, for this new AI era.
Thank you for the talk, Dr. Cheng. I had a question that as computer scientists, we use more AI. How will the expectation of companies or managers will change from software engineers or programmers? Will they expect us to, of course, they'll expect us to use these tools, but will the expectations will be, you ship code faster? Will you, I don't know, what's a good expectation to have?
Well, I can tell you immediately, I cannot answer these questions for those, big companies. But according to my, conversation with Dr. Wen, he was my former postdoc. He worked for me here from 1994 to 1996 before he moved to California. This is a trend that you cannot change. It's something that's going on, right? Big company definitely will no longer hire entry-level human programmers because they have a choice. They can use AI to do the same job more efficiently, 5 times more efficiently, and the cost is just, very small portion of hiring, using human beings to do the same work. So you have to understand, okay, this is something that's going on. You have to get yourself prepared. You either to be a software tool developers or software tool operators, nothing in between. To be a software tool developers, you must be very good. You must be very good. You must be so good that the companies are willing to pay a lot of money to hire you to develop those tools. Yes.
I'm going to try to answer Janon's question. So I did a software engineering internship at Microsoft last summer, and it was a 3-month internship, and it was software engineering, but I still had to do a lot of AI related work, and there was an actual more expectation to complete products faster, like to complete work much faster, because now there's AI can develop an API in a very short time. And so now, like even the traditional software engineering role actually has changed. If you are doing like a back-end engineering role, it's not just about building APIs, but then now it's more like AI focused, where you're building AI agents or tools that will support AI integration, right? So yes, like Dr. Ching said, it's right now AI is changing everything, and you're expected to be more productive with AI. Yeah.
Well, tell you what, actually Microsoft is struggling now, like Oracle. Okay. Oracle or Microsoft are two of those SaaS companies, SaaS, software as a service company. Okay, Oracle lost Oracle stock lost more than around 50% during the last 6 months. Why? We don't have to use database anymore. I can just use AI. AI can do the same thing, okay, and with a very smaller cost. I don't have to use Oracle's database anymore. I don't have to sign a contract with Oracle anymore. I don't have to sign a contract with Microsoft. That's why they are putting so much money into AI development, because they have to survive. Oracle has to survive. Microsoft has to survive. They have no other choice. That's why they put so much money into AI development. Okay. If big companies must do this, then small guys like you and me, we have to even work harder. Get yourself prepared.
Dr. Chang, you hit on something that's present in current day market. We've seen with stocks, a lot of SaaS, software as a service companies like Oracle and other companies taking a big hit because they fear AI is going to take over.
Well, the reason is, of course not. Wall Street, they are always one step ahead. Okay, not other people didn't know that Oracle is having a problem, but Wall Street, those people, they have very good smell. They know that Oracle is going to lose their business significantly. That's why the price dropped so much just within a few months. Okay, Oracle is struggling try to get invest money for them to invest on AI development. Microsoft is one step ahead ahead of Oracle. Therefore, Microsoft's situation is slightly better than Oracle. But the world is going to see big change, not for those big SaaS companies, not for those white collars, not for those blue collars. Okay, because I don't know much about robots, but I heard that the robots probably will also do the same thing. Okay, and if you want to know what's going to happen in that area, go to China to see what is going to happen. What's happening now? Okay, because China's robot industry is much more powerful than this country. I don't know, because I only know the software part. Hardware part, you have to ask those people who know the real situation.